Day, it's hump day, right, Mikey?
It is indeed.
We are
We are.
war. We are resilient. I'm sitting here with Hellfish Haven Army veteran, and he's the founder and executive director of Hellfish Haven, Michael Geary. I'm Travis Parrington, host of Oscar Mike Radio, Marine Corps veteran, and we are war. We are resilient. We want to thank you for checking us out tonight.
Oh,
So lots of good stuff going on.
Jose's trying to find a way over to say hello.
He
He
always
likes to get on
does.
camera every now and again too.
He always does. I mean, we got to work him in there somehow.
Come on up, Jose. Come say hello.
There you
Come on
go.
up. And here we go. We got Jose on tonight. Jose is the CEO of Operation Delta Dog. Got to give them a shout out. And next week, Hidden Battles and Operation Delta Dog will be doing a open house, like a cookout type event. Hellfish Haven will have a table at that, hanging out, handing out some F the Stigma bumper stickers to folks. If you guys come by Operation Delta Dog next Thursday, if you're in the Hollis, New Hampshire area.
I got Jimmy James checking in from Colorado. Jimmy, Army veteran. How are you doing, brother? And I just dropped the link to Delta Dogs in the chat. Who was the other organization that you're?
Hidden
Uh,
Battles. I believe hiddenbattlesfoundation.org. Not 100% on that.
I'm having fun. Hidden Battles Foundation. Yeah, you were absolutely 100% correct, man. Put that in the chat too. And so, we did the show last week with Gail McCullough. That went real well. She was absolutely fantastic. But one of the things you picked up on is this aspect of relationships. And we got Russell, checking in from Seattle. Man, we're nationwide now. This is awesome. But we're going along, and you hit me up and say, "Hey, man, that little conversation about relationships really got me thinking. You wanted to go into that a little bit tonight, and so, I mean, what do you think about that? And kind of tell us where you're coming from."
Yeah, the one of the big things is like I've been taking different courses over on Psych Armor. The courses that the governor's challenge, which is the suicide prevention among veterans. They'd like to reduce the number, and there's a lot of live courses on there that you can sign up for enrollment and take. Sit there, watch them on your computer, and you're able to understand different things about veterans and like how to working with veterans, helping veterans heal when they come back home from war or whatever they're struggling with, whether it be MST, TBI, PTS. It really just gives a really good synopsis and a good understanding of what to do. It's not telling people to go out there and put their kitty gloves on to deal with us because we're all a bunch of wild loose cannon, gun tooting bandits, that we actually, deal with people like they're an actual person. So like I see all too often that people believe the dramatized version of, what a veteran is from what they see on, Chicago Fire or, any other show that's on. And oh, it's a crazy vet. Here he comes again. And it's like that right there, like it just continues to like build on this. And that was one of the reasons why we wanted to get this pod up and running was to, kind of kick some of those mistruths and, falsehoods out there. And we wanted to show that, what vets are in everyday life. That,
Right.
you don't have to be a superhero to be a vet. You don't have to be, the villain either. And, you can just be a person that served their country and is proud of it. So,
So, what's the first thing? Because there's the vets who just got out. They just got out, and then there's the vets who've, like you said, been out for like 1 to 5 years, 1 to 7 years. And then the vets have been out, for a long time, like the Vietnam era vets. What are some common things that someone like a girlfriend or, you know, someone's trying to do to work in?
I
You know,
mean, you know,
how can so, a lot of times, you hear spouses say, "I just don't have any idea what these guys are talking about. I just don't know, how to relate to them." I mean, completely different from my experience, right? You know, what are some common things that make us different than other people in your mind?
I mean, the first thing is, like one of the things that Bill touched on 2 weeks ago, uh, that that when they bring their spouses to these events, and they really fill in the family on what's going on too, and like separate breakout sessions, because as vets we do have the tendency to unpack on one another, but not unpack with people that we're spending our lives with. That
Right,
we
right,
tend to, I'll talk to you, Travis, about something that's troubling and bugging me, but at the same time, when I go lay down in bed at night, I don't want to unpack and put that burden on my spouse. So it's
right.
like that's one of the things that you really see a lot in the veteran community is the we've built up a lot of walls because we learned how to do that in order to protect ourselves in whatever situation we were in, whether it was combat training or even PCSing from station to station to station. You can't really build the friendships and the proper relationships that you want to if you're only going to be someplace for a year and then you're gone TDY. So it's like the whole military concept is very it's a hard life.
So we got Jimmy saying that, his beard sometimes doesn't work in his favor, and Russell saying effort should be enough to make a difference. I think Russell. I hear, both Jimmy and Russell. You had to shave. I still shave. I can't help it. But some guys want to get that beard action going, and it's like, whoa. He says he's a veteran, but he has this big long beard. What's going on? And then, I do think Russell's onto something. If you make the effort as a friend or a family member or a spouse, that can go a long way to, kind of saying, okay, maybe not, I don't understand everything you've been through, but I'm trying. Help me out here. I think the spouse has to put out the effort to meet you halfway. Excuse me. But also, we got to meet them halfway too.
Absolutely. I mean, you can, as things build up, and like one of the things that like when like I was dating my wife, the first thing that like really like showed me the difference was that the interest in my my therapy, what I was doing, and like I was working with my PTSD doctor from home base program, and like didn't she wasn't interested in trying to fix me or change me. She just wanted to know like how I was doing with it, and like if there was anything that she could do in that support role. And like I'd never had that question asked before. And like it always been like this is my world over here with the doc and my guys that I went overseas with, and then I try to keep the church and state separate.
Let's do a common one. People in general still get kind of freaked out when we go like to a restaurant or a public place. I want to know where the exits are. I didn't serve in combat, but just some weird things from the Marine Corps, rifleman training, mount training that just stuck with me. You want to know where the exits are. You want to kind of get the lay of the crowd when you walk in a place and look for potential threats, and that freaks some people out. And it's not as bad as it used to be, or maybe I hide it better. I don't know, but that's something that I do, and sometimes when people pick up on it, it's like, this guy is not firing all cylinders. I mean, how should someone who's not used to that kind of mentality, try to bridge that gap or understand?
I mean, the toughest part is just initiating the conversation, having the conversation, and learning from your veteran friends, and like don't be afraid to ask the questions. Like don't like nothing's gonna like trigger somebody, or like people are too worried about making somebody uncomfortable but the best way to learn about somebody is to make them uncomfortable. Like once you get in those uncomfortable conversations and you have them, you get closer as people.
Russell says he agrees on both. Both people need to have a patience and understanding to, understanding. To not understand, it's hard for someone to wrap your brain around what veterans actually experience. Yeah, I'm sure it is. I mean, there's some things that, in hawk school, boot camp, and, sleeping out in the 120-degree weather that just, people can't understand. Something they don't want to. But, I think it's what you said, Mike, is just trying to have the conversation, and, we as a veterans not taking it personal, and, trying to move forward with this. So, do we have somebody that we're going to talk with tonight?
Yes, Mike Peterson is going to be joining us. He runs the Specialist Cleaning Foundation, and he's also a member of the Hidden Battle Radio crew that comes on 9:80 a.m. Following this podcast. They do 8 to 9.
You're busy on Wednesday nights, Mikey. So I think he's here. I'm going to bring him on and see what we can see. Hang on one second.
Mike, you there?
I'm here, guys.
All right, we can hear you. How's it?
I gave a little synopsis of who you are, but if you want to give the full rundown of Specialist Cleaning Foundation, how long it's been going on, your proper title there, and a little snip of the Hidden Battles radio show that you've been on.
Yes, sure. Hey, first of all, I'm sorry for my technical difficulties and my delay here, but yeah, my name is Mike Peterson. I'm the president of the Specialist Matthew Pellini Memorial Fund. It's named after my fallen soldier, Matthew Pellini. Yeah, we lost him in Iraq, January 22nd, 2009. The way that my soldiers and I figured the best way to keep his name alive is to kind of raise money and run an organization that does what he always did. His whole purpose was to service. He didn't join. He wanted to go, kill bad guys. He joined the Army National Guard because he wanted to help people. So our mission statement is to assist victims of natural and man-made disasters, as well as soldiers and first responders in severe need due to occupational hazards. That's a broad statement on purpose, so we can help out as many people as possible. And what we do is we provide immediate financial relief to a point, the best that we can. Right? We're not the March of Dimes. We're not paying off your house, but we're going to provide immediate relief, and we're gonna let you know, like, hey, there's a community here to support you, and then we're going to help you set you up right now for the immediate purpose, and then help you in the long run. And we're going to connect you to organizations that can help you, such as Delta Dog, Hellfish Haven, Hidden Battles. We work well with all these groups, and it's really a team effort. We do stuff that they don't do, and they do stuff that we don't do, but we still all work together to support that veteran or that first responder. The way we look at it is, I can give you a $2,000 check right now, but how does that help you in the long run, right? And what I want to do is find you employment. I want to get the bottom line of what's really hurting you, and I want to help you fix that so that you're set up for success for the future. But that's really what we do with the Pellini Fund. It's a few of my soldiers and myself on the board, and again, we hold 2 big events a year, and it's been going well. We established it in 2010. It's an official 501c3 nonprofit, and we're still going strong. It's just getting bigger and better. It's excellent. It's awesome. And then I met up with Hidden Battles through a Pellini Fund 5K rucker run out of Drake, Mass, and that's where I met up with Scott Hyder out of from Hidden Battles, and we just clicked right away. And now I'm on the board as a peer support member for Hidden Battles also. So between that and between working with Mikey at Hellfish Haven, I mean, it's just a lot of good stuff is happening, and it's from these small organizations, not these. The large ones are great. Don't get me wrong. Anybody that supports veterans is a great thing, but don't forget about the small guys like us.
Well, Mike, thanks for coming on and sharing with us. I just want to give a shout out to Brian Gibson from Project Die Hard in the Kentucky, Illinois area, doing some great work out there. And I think that's, you hit on something. It's a lot of we're stronger as a team, right? So we can come together as a team with what we're doing. We can accomplish more. We can be that team member. I guess I don't know much about you. Michael's talked a whole lot I've learned by going on your website, but kind of tell us when you get a chance to help out a fellow veteran or somebody in need. How's that affect you on a personal level?
Well, that's a really awesome question because so many times, because having a nonprofit, it gets very stressful, and I don't have a huge board that helps me out with everything. It's very stressful, and so many times I've almost given up the nonprofit. I mean, but then obviously I don't want to let down my fallen soldier. But and then somebody, right when I'm about to give it up, somebody comes along saying, "Hey, they're really down in the dumps and they're really asking for help." And you give them the donation, and they act like you did just pay off their house. Meanwhile, you just cut them a $5,000 check or something, $500 or whatever it is. And so that right there, it's rewarding. And as many struggles as I have, helping people in doing this service, any volunteer work that I'm doing, whether it's with the church or a veterans nonprofit or something through work, it just makes me, it kind of re-energizes me, if that makes sense. And I get a thrill doing it. I love doing it. I think that's my purpose is service. It's the right thing to do, and so many people need it. And if I'm fortunate enough to be able to provide a service and to help others, well, then that's what I'm going to do.
Awesome, awesome. We got Jimmy James, Michael checking in from Colorado, saying, he appreciates this, and you don't have to be in the same state, the same town to find direction. Russell out in Seattle gives a shout out to Nick Richardson from Greater Veterans. Nick, hope you're feeling better. He was in the hospital. One of the themes of this show was relationships, and Michael, was like, "Hey, Travis, let's talk about relationships tonight." To his point, Mike Peterson, how should we as veterans, you know, try to relate to other people who aren't veterans, like our spouses or girlfriends or husbands or our parents who haven't served? How do we help them out?
I think we help them out by getting rid of that stigma and actually talking. Right? They want to know, and we're holding it in like it's a secret. They're grown ups too. They're responsible and they want to help. So let them help and let's talk. Because they're stressed out too. They go through this stuff too. They're just not in Fallujah or Kabul. But they go through this stuff too in their own way. So I think it's really very important that we talk and we let them know what we're thinking, what's going through our heads, and what's going through the heads and what's happened with our peers. Hey, I lost another soldier to suicide, unfortunately. Or whatever the case may be. Like, let them know this is how the community is, the veteran community, and that's gonna because they're making their effort, and that's going to allow them to better be in position to help us when we truly need it. I mean, in my work in my agency, I'm also the peer support facilitator. So I really dive into this stuff and helping other veterans, via the peer support route as well. And I think talking and getting this off your chest or doing any kind of resiliency course you can do, I think is the right approach, and bring the community, bring your family and your friends along with you, right? A lot of organizations, they build a sense of community. It's not just you come to my event because you're a veteran. Hey, yeah, come to my event because you're a veteran, but you know what? Bring your wife, bring your kids, let them play with my kids and his kids and those kids. Let's all do it together because again, we all serve together. It's just some of us wear the uniform. The other ones are at home serving, going through their own headaches and their own troubles. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I was going to ask Mike. You do a lot of peer support type activities with Hellfish Haven. You know, how does that work for what you do with Hellfish Haven to not only meet the veteran but also their friends and family where they are?
For me, you have to have the friends and family aspect. Like when we're looking at the whole health approach to try to help somebody, and you want to help them with their mental health, they also need to have a sense of community as well. Like if you're trying to help somebody and you're working with them to help themselves, you want to make sure that they have someone they can turn to, or a group that they can be a part of, whether it be the VFW, or whether it be a church softball league, or something outside of your headspace that you can go and be a part of, that helps you out. And oftentimes it is something that's non-military related. There's so many good choices and things to do out there that you can do that aren't sitting there wasting your life away, drinking, drugs, whatever, else is going on out there that, causes people to go further down the depression hole, the isolation hole, and, ultimately leads to a lot of service members, veterans, taking their own lives. And, that's the biggest thing we're out here trying to prevent. I know Mike's in the same battalion that I was in, and it's hit our battalion, tenfold on, suicides, uh, overdoses, even like environmental hazards, giving people these weird cancers. Like, just too many people have died young from the battalion, and like, just want to do our part out there to make sure that if we can prevent one, we can prevent one.
So both mics. This is kind of cool. I have like 40 mic. Da-ding. We published this event, and one of my friends, Barbara Gale, was like, I really want to understand, you know, veterans better because of what I do and the circles I'm in. I meet them, and sometimes I'm just trying to figure them out. You know, do you find that there's civilians out there that really do want to connect with us, really do want to figure out a way to advocate and support us?
Hey, sir, I think absolutely. I think no doubt, and I think we're doing us a disservice if we're not involving them in opening our events up to the community. And it's so hard for a veteran to find the time to go do our events or go seek the help by himself, right? It's
Yeah.
going to be much more easier on that veteran or herself, right? It's going to be much more easier on that veteran if they're allowed to, hey, and encouraged to bring your family, bring your friends, bring whoever you want. Like if it's the community aspect of it is such an integral part to healing that veteran and getting that veteran the resources they need.
That's a really cool way to look at it. I mean, talking about community versus just non-veterans or veterans. That's
Well,
real.
I think it provides like a holistic approach to the whole healing aspect, and not just healing, right? Because we're not broken, we're veterans, we've been through so much, but the whole for lack of a better word, yeah, the healing and getting that person the help that they need is the holistic approach of not just here's your PTSD counseling. Hey, listen, go do PTSD counseling, no problem. But yeah, I tell you what, why don't you bring your family in, and we can have family discussions. Talk to my family, talk to that family, and that way, it's a holistic approach where they're all going to benefit because it's going to be easier on that person so that he's not just leaving his family to go seek help and causing more of a burden time away from his family. Bring everyone in on it. Let everyone get the help and let everyone get the understanding so the whole family's on the same page.
So I'm going to paste this link in here. Mike, that's Mike G, and not Mike, but that maybe is something that we got to look at as a community, veterans community is really figuring out the other side of the coin. Right from the get go. Hey, we're having X event, whether it's cornhole or a run or you know some counseling or suicide prevention class. You know, bring our civilian friends, family, and maybe even colleagues into the mix so they can advocate better, understand what we go through better. Maybe that's a secret sauce.
I
You know,
think that if I'm telling the veteran to, hey man, practice mindfulness, right? Practice mindfulness training, resiliency training, right? Do the box breathing. Take that few minutes to yourself before you walk in that house. That way you can calm yourself down and be, in tune with with yourself and aware of your surroundings. Now, if he's doing what I'm telling him to do and he's really calm, he walks through that house and the wife and the kids have no idea. What's that going to do? It's going to cause a fight. What are you doing out in the driveway for the past 15 minutes? What have you been doing? Where you been? But if they're aware of these techniques that this person is trying to do to be healthier and the best person he can be, well, that's going to ease the stress on him now. So he's doing what he's told, but the family's unaware. They're going, and now it's causing a fight when he's just trying to do what he was told by different agencies and peer support members. So if everyone has an understanding of the techniques, and by the way, these techniques are work on everyone, mindfulness and resiliency. That's available for everybody. So if everyone has these skills and techniques, they can help each other do it. And again, that's going to provide way more support by including the whole community, the whole family and friends.
And on that too, like the safety plan that guys fill out for when they do have suicidal ideation or uh, plan on self harm or have the possibility of that happening. You fill out with your doctor the safety plan, but part of that safety plan should also be including the people that are closest to you around, that they know what that safety plan is. Like my wife knows that when I go in the bathroom and I'm putting water on my face, I'm taking a minute or two in there that I'm, resetting myself, and that she knows that I'm going through the steps on the plan, and then we just want to make sure that that they know the steps, so that when we go through it, they see it, and that for me, she goes, hey, are you following your steps? Make sure you call, a buddy, touch base with Noah if you need to, or and she'll remind me to like go through the process that I've been going through in order to make sure that I'm doing it still.
I think, thinking about this, it just goes back to this theme we were talking about, Mike and Mike, where it's we that we can't wait on. Like, I mean, nothing against the American Legion or BFW or AMVETS or any of those guys. We can't wait on those people. We can't wait on the government to do it for us. We can't wait on the VA. We got to start taking control of our own, advocacy. And maybe this is how we do it. Gail McCullough, Mike's checking in. Gail, how's it going? Gail heads up Mass Health Helpline, excuse me, and was on here. And Michael P, I want you to bookmark this. This is a really great site for people who, need help in the Commonwealth. Um, if you click that link and you know somebody who needs help in a mental way, or with suicidal ideation or anything like that, this is a good place to start as a defense in depth kind of thing. Gail asks, "How are we doing, Michael? How are you doing?" For Gail,
I'm doing well. Just I saw the message Russell put about the Spokane Falls falling way short, and that's just that's it's sad to see that happening. I mean, even in Massachusetts, the first time I went to VA for mental health, I filled out all the paperwork. Back in the office, they handed it back to me. They go, "Yeah, you look like you're gonna have PTSD there, but we can't see you for 6 months." So and like I left, and I didn't go get seen again at the VA for mental health for another 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah, I wound up going. Luckily, we had the home base program available, and I was able to find a doctor there that was able to treat me and work with me in the meanwhile. But it's tough when you go there and like a 6 month wait from the time you're getting told that you may have something. And just to me, that was crazy. And there are resources that you can use, whether it's your patient advocate or the outside resources that are available, like home base and like the different programs that can even the mass behavioral health like line like Gail had, calling them up versus not getting care would be a lot better.
Well, we're doing well, Gail, and I think that's the thing. Some VAs are great, some are not. Um, it's we got to take ownership of our own advocacy. Russell says 18 months of their bad plan. I was scored out when I said I want something that works with a capital F. That can be hard, right, Mike? When it doesn't seem like anything's working for you and you just don't know where to go next.
And it is. I mean, for me, like I got the like when I needed a service dog, for example. That's where I was talking with Noah. Noah said call Mike. I called Mike. Mike said I know a guy, Scott. And then they turned around. They sent me an application, and I filled it out, and went back and forth, and got a hold of Delta Dog and was talking to them, and But then there was an issue where like they were worried that I wouldn't be able to get to classes, and Mike threw out there right away. He's like, tell them that the special spleen fund will take care of you getting to classes if they if that's what their concern is. And after that, the concern wasn't there, and we were able to make it through the training, and that's something that changed my life just by like reaching out to somebody else.
Gail says, I don't know how long the wait list is, but if you can't get care, please try another avenue. Don't give up. I mean, that's a very important part of it, Mike Peterson. I mean, you said it yourself, you had challenges with your nonprofit, challenges post service, and you didn't give up. What does that mean, really, though, to not give up and stick with it?
It means, well, everything. I don't know about you guys. I'm sure you're the same way, but everything I do kind of relates to military, right? What would you do in the military? You be resourceful. You look outside. You think outside the box. What's another way to accomplish the mission? And the good thing is I think, Mike, with the complaints that you're bringing up with the it's taking so long to get service, I think that might have been better or gotten better with the PACT Act. And let's not forget about the Compact Act. The Compact Act allows any veteran, don't even have to be enrolled in VA. Any veteran can go to any hospital and get if they're in crisis and get 30 days inpatient or 90 days outpatient training free. That's every veteran in the country. And you don't have to be enrolled. You just tell them, hey, I'm a veteran. And these hospitals know to contact the VA. The VA is going to flip the bill.
Really?
That's a huge resource. First of all, that's when you learn about it, it's you just think like holy crap, how come that hasn't always been like that? And that is such a great thing now. So let's make sure we get that word out. If you're in crisis, go to any hospital right now and you get 30 days inpatient if you want, and it's free, or 90 days outpatient program that I recently, because even though I'm peer support and even though I went through PTSD stuff because of my own PTSD issues, luckily I have the self-awareness and the tools now to realize, hey, I need another tune-up, right? And so recently I went through Forge VFR, and they're amazing people, and it was excellent. So by all means, if we're going to get rid of the stigma, then let's talk about ourselves, right? So I'm not ashamed to say, hey, I went to go get help recently. That's no problem with that. Go get the help before it becomes too much, before that rucksack gets too heavy. So if you're feeling that that rucksack is too heavy and you're done, compact that. Go to any hospital right now. Go get help. No questions asked. And they're going to pay the bill for a 30-day inpatient or 90-day outpatient.
Oh, say Barbara's checking in. Barbara's been commenting on the event, Michael, and she says veterans and hospital staff need to be aware of that. So, yeah, how do we get? I didn't know that. I had no idea that was the compact. I knew about the PACT Act, not the Compact
Yep,
Act.
the Compact Act of 2000. So, but this new thing that I'm discussing right now just came to fruition. I want to say January 17th this year. So this is brand new. And I made sure that I had the VA give a briefing to my agency because we have 2,700 veterans in my law enforcement agency, and I wanted to get that word out there ASAP. So and we did, and it was a great briefing. A lot of great knowledge in there. So it's
Awesome.
important that we share this knowledge because that's a life-saving tool. I think you will both agree to that.
Right.
I know one thing that was mentioned today on the Greater Boston Veterans Collaborative like Zoom meeting that they had was that a majority of the veterans out there are not affiliated with the VA. It's 60% of veterans are not registered with the VA. So, they want to make sure that that care is getting out there, and that's where I think that this act comes into play, and really reaches those veterans that aren't in VA care, and they actually have people that work for the VA that go to the different doctors' offices and agencies and stuff, and try to teach this program and share it with folks because they want to be able to reach the veteran, where they are. If they're not coming to the VA, the VA wants to make sure they can still reach out to the veteran.
As I'm listening to you all and Barbara's checking in, and she works in the medical field. And thanks for Gail for dropping that link in there. It's kind of weird, right? If you go to a hospital and you don't speak English, they have interpreters for you that you can contact, and they can get the care coordinated, right? do they have something like this for veterans where, you come in there and you have your VA card or whatever that you could, get somebody to kind of navigate through this? Because, like, different thing, but when I got hurt in 2021, they took me to Brockton Hospital because the VA didn't have an ER. The Brockton VA does not have an ER. Did the whole thing there. And then I got a bill and I was freaking out, man. This bill was more than my car. And I had to navigate through the VA system to kind of get it all done and make several phone calls. That's just an example.
Yep. So
You know,
I'm sorry to interrupt
yeah,
you.
go ahead.
So the VA now, in another new program they have, it's called the Military to VA M2VA program, and what it does is all about this case management, especially for post 9/11 veterans, and it tells you all the benefits, but it also is linked to the whole health program. The whole health program is the way the VA's new way of providing services by looking at once again the holistic approach. What else do you need? I can fix your knee, no problem. But what else do you need? Are you having any troubles? Drinking? You drinking too much? Are there any drugs? Do you have any depression issues that we need to talk about? Like, let's talk about all of you, not just that one issue, on your knee or whatever the case may be. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
yes, they do help you navigate through bills or getting enrolled or filing claims, and they do help you with every aspect that you could think that's going to make you whole and better.
So Barbara's saying if the VA has interaction with the hospital, she's saying if they do, it's not publicized. I'm going to guess here and say that it's not very well known between hospitals and the VA how these two places should talk to each other.
I probably guarantee that she's correct. And that's
Yeah.
typical government red tape. But I mean, do your own research and don't take my word for it. But this is a legit thing. I've talked to VA officials. I've had them give webinars and I mean, look it up. Compact Act is excellent, and hospitals will know about it. But nonetheless, the hospital won't turn you away. What they'll do is they'll call the VA. Okay, no problem. They're not going to turn you away, and it is covered, and you can show them the law. I mean, it's the VA will flip the bill 100%, no problem.
Well,
And sometimes you do have to do a little legwork. I was seen at a VA in Bedford and then sent to Emerson Hospital afterwards, where I spent 5 days. And then Emerson tried to send the bill to me. After getting a couple of those, like, I had to call them and direct them to the VA. But all you have to do is tell them, the PO box number, whatever the VA has for, medical care in this area, and the bill was gone in maybe a month and a half.
So I just posted a link in there from the VA where it talks about the Compact Act,
Awesome.
Michael M. And it goes through the entire thing, your eligibility, how billing works. It's I don't want to read the whole thing, but basically it says Compact Act guarantees veterans in suicidal crisis will receive care.
Yep.
Veterans in suicidal crisis, excuse me, can go to any VA or non-VA healthcare facility for free emergency healthcare. Well, I mean, that's just I don't know, guys. I'm thinking back to earlier this year, that veteran, committed suicide at, Jamaica Plain.
In the parking lot, yep.
Right in the parking lot. That just comes to mind. It kind of drives what Michael G and I are doing here, and I just want this has been worth it tonight because I've learned, hey, here's another resource. If you're having trouble, you can go to a hospital and get taken care of, and we want to help you get through this.
I think that sometimes whether people are tuning in or not, or tuning into the Hidden Battles radio show, or you guys, the fact that people know that there's resources available in a community out here that has their back. I think that right there does a lot of good for them, whether they're listening to the radio show or not. Just knowing that, hey, I got people that are supporting me. Sometimes when we deploy around the country doing peer support details for whatever horrific thing that happened to one of my officers, sometimes nobody comes up and talks to us. But when we leave, they say, "Hey, I know I didn't come talk, but it was nice knowing that you guys were here anyway." So just again, just the perception is reality. Just knowing that there's a community of supporters like us that who have been there, the same places they've been, is going to help them a lot, make them much more resilient. So what you guys are doing is just so excellent. I mean, I truly appreciate you guys allowing me to come on. Hope I'm not talking too much.
No. I wish I could see you though. Can you turn on your inside light?
Let me see.
Just out of curiosity. If you can't, don't worry about it.
I'm trying, but it's not good.
Don't worry. Okay. Yeah.
You look like you're holding a flashlight up underneath you, like you're telling a ghost story.
I know that it's scary over here in Lowell.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, be safe.
Did you want to just give speaking of the radio show, do you want to give a little
Yeah.
quick
Let's hear
plug?
Okay, yeah, the radio show is from 8 to 9. It's every Wednesday. Hidden Battles was nice enough to invite me to come on every Wednesday. Tonight we're talking about it was all same thing actually, resiliency, and also a Hidden Battles event coming up on April 22nd. It's a concert in Arlington. It's going to be excellent. It's WCAP 980 if you're local, AM station. But if you're not local, you can stream it online. We got people streaming all over the country. WCAP 980 and 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock every Wednesday Eastern time. And you'll hear the three of us talking about stuff that affects the veteran and law enforcement community. I shouldn't say law enforcement, veteran and first responder community, which, as you know, is mostly veterans anyway. So, yeah, that's what we got going on.
Yeah, I see you right here. 8 to 9 p.m. Hidden Battles hosted by Scott Hyder. Scott and guests discuss the battles of veterans, firefighters, police officers, and first responders coping with depression, suicidal tendencies, and PTSD. I'll put the link right here in the chat. Good stuff. Good stuff.
And then, Mike, are you going to be out at the open house for Delta Dog Hidden Battles next week?
I will be there next week. Yep, 100%.
I'll see you there.
So we need to Gail McCullough, who's just been a fantastic guest. She's an Army veteran. We need to get her synced up with that show. It'd be a good one for her to get on and talk about Mass Health Helpline. And that's a really cool resource. And this is the thing I'm liking. I'm learning about. We have the Compact app from the VA. You can layer that with the Mass Health Helpline. Help is here. You can get the help you need. And I think it's really cool that these. I learn something new every time we do this, and we get to help other people just by educating them, and we get something out of it too. Speaking of of hidden battles, what's past the event on the 22nd? What's kind of next for you all?
Past that, again, Scott's the president. They have so many events going on. And by the way, I know this is not what you asked, but every Tuesday night there's a peer support meeting at the YMCA here in Lowell at 7 p.m. So by all means, any first responders and veterans should show up to that. And that's just it's needed and it's awesome. But as far as the bigger events like the concert on April 22nd in Arlington, after that, I really you caught me off guard. I'd have to check the website.
Oh, no problem.
The Pellini Fund
the 22 for 22.
April 14th in Chelmsford, and then we have a motorcycle run August 26th in Taunton, Massachusetts. That's for the Pellini Fund.
Okay.
Also, the 22 for 22 Newfound Lake.
Yep, you're right about that, and that's May 20th. It's a 22K for the 22 fallen. Now, I mean, I know that bumped down to 17 fallen, died by suicide every day, but hey, nonetheless, it's still too many. But yeah, we do our best to help with that.
And Gail's going to be at a car show in Haverhill hosted by the Veterans Northeast Outreach. Man, I just love this, man. People are coming together instead of staying in their own little sandboxes. And you can't play in my sandbox. There's not enough room. I just like it that, these groups, these people like yourself, like Michael, G, Mike, I'll start calling you guys Mike 40 and, or 40 Mike. That's it. I'll start calling you guys 40 Mike are just all getting together doing this. I think that's what we wanted to do. So we got like 15 minutes left, Mike. What else is on your mind tonight?
Just, touching base with with folks and keeping the most important relationship is that with your with yourself, and like making sure that like you have the right like space to be interacting with everybody else, and like don't be afraid that if you got to take a step out from events or something, and walk away. Don't be ashamed to take time for yourself out of all this. Like, it's like one of the biggest things, because like I've learned that like if you can't handle an event, it's okay to to say no, and it's okay to like to leave early from a friend's house, or to that I feel like people nowadays know and better understand mental health, and know that people need time to get out there and reset themselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, yeah, self care is important, and you hit on something. Sometimes I go to an event and I'm cool with, it, but sometimes like I just okay, I've seen people, I said hello, and it's just time to leave. It's nothing personal. It's not like I'm being rude. It's just okay. I'm good. It's time to go. Yeah, it just happens sometimes, and it's okay. Um, Michael M. Michael P. Excuse me. I got Mike in my head now. How similar are the challenges with like law enforcement and first responders and firefighters? As with the military, do you find a lot of similarities between the different service types?
I there are a lot of similarities, and in working with hidden battles, I've kind of I've learned a lot. My eyes kind of open up, and I know we've all experienced stuff overseas, but these guys, they experience stuff weekly, for years, and that could really be, you can imagine how much that could affect them. And then, and on top of that, a lot of them are veterans, so that's all compounding. So can you imagine all the stuff, and not seeking help, but then here you come back and you're a Boston PD, and you see all this other stuff, and you still don't seek help for years and years. Meanwhile, you've been through how many shootings, how many rapes, how many accidents. All this stuff is compounding in your mind, and none of us are. I mean, it's a lot for anyone. So that adds to the PTSD. So when the episode does happen, because that rucksack is going to get too heavy at one point, it's going to make it that much worse because you didn't go seek help when you should have. So I know I'm getting off topic here, but I think the struggles are very similar.
Okay. I think the thing that I'm hearing is the struggles are similar, but we're not we don't have to be alone in those struggles. We can share perspective and resources and experiences to help all of us out.
I mean, if we didn't do that dismounted patrol in Numania alone, then why should I be alone now?
Right.
I still got supporters here in the squad here. Why can't we all? Because I'm going to help them. So they better be here to help me. I know they want to, so I'm going to let them. I've learned my lesson. I went through that perfect storm, and it was the worst day ever. And I'm not going to go back. And I think that I really wish people would take heed to that.
I got Craig Chapman checking in saying,
Awesome man right there.
Mike P, keep up the great work with Specialist Matthew Polini Memorial Fund. And then he's asking you a question, Mike, about hooking up with a veteran nonprofit in New Hampshire or something.
Yep,
Just check.
Craig, I just invited you to the Sits and Sips event. I'm not sure if you're available next Thursday, but that's the one that Hidden Battles and Operation Delta Dog will be running. They're both New Hampshire operating uh, nonprofits.
So we got Gail checking back in saying we want law enforcement to use the mass helpline for themselves or if they encounter folks with MH issues or substance abuse. What's MH?
Mental health.
Oh, hello. Sorry, it's been a long day, but yeah, I'm going to post that URL in the chat again. The Mass Health Behavioral Health Helpline and phone number. Just a really great resource that we all right here can not only use but also share with other people uh, who are going through situations in life and need a boost.
Of
And that
course,
number.
as always, there's if you can share this one, Travis, as well. Uh,
Okay.
988. I mean, press one for veterans, but it's anybody can call 988.
Um, the Mass Health Helpline is for Mass residents, Craig. But the 988 helpline is available. He's asking about a veteran in New Hampshire needing some help. So that's what I know about that. The Mass Health Helpline is for Mass residents, and does 988 help everybody, regardless
Yes.
of where they are? Okay.
But that's a suicide and crisis lifeline. I will find another contact for you, Craig, for uh, VSOs in New Hampshire.
Let me know about that, Mike, and I'll find something to help as well, or I'll help.
All right, perfect.
Oh, wait. Hey, Gail just checked back in. So she says if they call the helpline, we have, if they call the helpline, we have a similar service and get connected to New Hampshire. So, Craig, you can have them call 833-773-2445. And according to Gail, and Gail is like one of the head coordinators on it. She's been on here. She's been on my show, Oscar Mike Radio. What she's saying is they will connect that person or you to a resource in New Hampshire to get more assistance.
And then Mike Peterson, just Greg said he's needing help with lodging.
I got you. Craig, give me a text. Gentlemen, I have to go. The radio show's starting in a few minutes, so but I truly appreciate this. And if I can leave with anything, it's please, everyone, look into that Compact Act. Go get that help. It is covered. The VA will cover it. Also, look into the VA Whole Health Program. There are so many great resources out there for mindfulness and resilience.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what's needed. Please go get the help that you need.
Thank you, Mike, for joining us tonight. Appreciate it. Time as always.
I appreciate you too. Thanks a lot. Please keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you for coming on and talking with us. Really appreciate it.
We'll talk soon, guys.
With Mike.
Bye.
And what Mike was talking about with the whole health aspect there on the VA's website, they literally, if you click like the mindfulness section, there's like you've got white noises, you've got guided meditation. There is literally things on the VA's website that I never thought I would see, and like it's there. I mean, if you need to get acupuncture, I've got a guy in Worcester that he goes to the VA and they sign him off for 6 sessions of acupuncture, and he goes out to the community and gets 6 acupuncture appointments done. And then, after that's done, he goes back to the VA again, checks back in, and they fill him out for more. So, like, there really is so much, like, that whole health approach, tells you, not just to focus on, the one thing that's affecting you at the time, oh, I got a bad back or, my knee. It's, take care of your mind, take care of your body, take care of, the soul, whether it be, through a religion or through, an organization that you're connected with that, that helps you out and, keeps your mind right.
Well, you have to approach the whole body. You have to approach the whole body. You have to approach the physical, mental, and emotional aspect of it. And if one of them's not, doing well, the whole suffers. And I think that's something a lot of people, miss. And so, to your point, they self-medicate or they self-isolate or, they just, don't do anything and atrophy and, little problems. This is one thing that, that Gail really emphasized, talking with us is these little problems over time become big, huge problems and to that person seem unsolvable. So it's important to have mindfulness and be aware of what's going on with yourself and take care of yourself, which sounds simple, right? But it's not. It's not because there's so many people counting on you. Oh,
and there's the link that you can check it out on the VA's website about the whole health and and like what really got me into a lot of this and like got me focusing on it was like I grabbed a book, Headspace and Timing, and just like with the 50 cal when you set it up,
Yeah.
you give the headspace and timing key, and if it's not right, it's not gonna go bang. And the same thing, like the author, he was a vet. He did his years of service, and now he's a mental health counselor. And just making that transition, like we were gonna set up a peer group, using the book and using the chapters to help out, but it kind of just fell apart. Our group did, and it just the lessons learned from that, and like learning about the paradoxes that veterans reach, where like we want to reach out to others and tell them our story, but at the same time we're very protective of our story and of letting people know it. So
Still, I think that we talked about though, it goes to, you want to have your family and friends, be able to talk with you about it, and then we have to be able to talk with them, understand they're not trying, you know, are there bad situations out there? Absolutely, but if your mom, dad, your wife is trying to understand you, don't take it personally. Try to take it where this person cares enough about me to ask, and take that time and work with them, and communicate and tell them what's going on.
definitely does. Like another thing too is like don't wait until you're at the point of needing to be hospitalized to reach out for help for people. Like if something's not feeling right, let somebody know early and often. It's like because if we can help somebody, like even like the ETF sponsorship program that I'm part of, is like the VA now has, like when guys get out, like a guy's getting out in 8 months, and he just got connected with me to help him out and learn things about the Boston area that he can get connected with, and learn about stuff with the VA that he won't doesn't know about, or has questions about that he can ask me, and like that allows him to come out prepared. And instead of waiting years down the road to join the VA, years down the road to join veteran service organizations, it's getting people involved as soon as they leave. And eventually I think people should be getting involved in some of this stuff as soon as they join.
Absolutely. And one more book to the reading list. Gail says, check out The Body That Keeps the Score. The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk, medical doctor. I'm going to check that out. The Body Keeps the Score. Well, Mike, it just seems like we get started, and then all of a sudden, we're at the end here. Um, any idea what you want to talk about next week?
uh Open to suggestions.
All right, I'll talk to you. I got one I want to bounce off of you. I'll talk to you probably tomorrow about it or whatever, but we'll see what's going on. Again, I am with Michael Geary, Army veteran, and the founder and executive director of Hellfish Haven. And I am Travis Parrington, Marine Corps veteran and host of Oscar Mike Radio. We are war. We are resilient. You're resilient, and we do this to remind you that hey, you're tough. You're pliable, but you also need some help too, and it all makes you a stronger person. So we can do this together. We can do this together.
I just want to thank everybody, probably for joining us. It's your first time. If it's your 10th time, it's appreciated, every time people check in, and, whether you're watching it live or watching the replay, it's important to us that, we're glad you guys are getting the messages that we're putting out. And, if you got somebody that wants to jump on, or you want to jump on anytime, we'll always put out the link to share. You guys are all part of this as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're going to sign off. Gail, good night. Thank you for coming on, and we will see you next week. Take care, everybody.